me this afternoon. Today I am here to announce that Chief Kerr Putney is going to retire effective July 1st, and Deputy Chief Johnny Jennings will be sworn in on that same day. It's always been Putney's plan to be with us through the RNC, but with the changes, we felt that now is the right time for Chief Putney to retire. He has 30 years of service with us, dedicated a lot of sacrifices. Thanks, Chief. He's led us through some difficult times, and with his input, I think we're a better city. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Chief Putney.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Just very briefly, it is time. I really appreciate to the CMPD family everything we've been able to do together. I just want you to redouble your efforts in the work that you do with our young people. Community engagement has to be remain a core function of what we do in policing, especially given these times. I want you to take care of each other and be safe. To the Charlotte community, humbled that you'd give me the opportunity to serve you in the first place. You know my story, you know the journey. I appreciate the fact that this is the best city that I could have ever chosen to make my home and to work for in this police service. To my family and my friends, who are all the same, my friends are my chosen family, love you, looking forward to spending more time with you. It's been a long time since we've been able to do some of those things that we get to do now without being attached to an iPhone. I just want to say once again to Mr. Jones, thank you for the kind words. Also, I tell you, it's amazing to me. Mr. Falwell, North Carolina State Treasurer, stopped by about a week ago to have a good conversation, to support everything we're trying to do here locally, even from the retirement system with the state. And I can't stop smiling about that. That's a very good feeling. So again, as I said before, we want to focus on crime fighting, community engagement, and professional development. I think we've been able to check all those boxes. Right now we're down in crime. Homicides are down versus last year, even though shootings are up. There's still work to be done in the area of violent crime. We as a city have to come together and do that as a team, collaboratively. We can't be at each other's throats. This cannot be the blame game. With that, I'm going to stop talking. There's so much more I could say, and I will say, in a different venue, in a different day, in a different manner. We'll open it up to questions. I'm sure you have a lot of questions for Mr. Jones, but I am excited and looking forward to the next phase. And again, to the CMPD family, to the city of Charlotte, thank you so much for this opportunity. I hope I served you well. Thank you.
Okay, we'll open up for questions. At the moment, we don't have any, so if our reporter's on the line, raise your hand, indicate you have a question. We'll call on you. First question is going to go to Lana Harris. Go ahead, Lana.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, thanks. So I'm sure you know that this is interesting timing, given that the city is now dealing with that incident on Beatty's Ford Road. Is there any connection? Why was this announced today?
Yes, there is no connection. The plan has been to make this announcement today. That has been planned for quite a while between Mr. Jones and myself. And the issue that I see, though, is let's not forget you do have a chief who's already here, ready to be sworn in and tackle any challenges that come his way. I had committed to getting us through a few things that we're tying up right now. The RNC is not coming in the capacity that we thought. And to be quite frank with you, I can control my own destiny, and that's exactly what I'm doing.
Brett Jensen.
Chief, this is Brett Jensen. I'm sorry if you answered this earlier or said this in your statement. I just got in.
Yes, sir.
With you resigning, are there thoughts to join other police forces? I know a lot of people talked about San Francisco. That's been out there, or are you done with law enforcement for good?
Brent, you need to check in earlier next time. I never resign. I'm retiring. That's okay. No worries. I just got to correct you when you're mistaken. I am going to retire, sir. And do I have any interest in other departments? No. That ship has sailed. I'm going to do a lot of things in the consulting arena, and I have a voice that you're going to hear more of. So this is not goodbye. This is just finishing one chapter, one phase, going into the next, and I might even be more vocal in the next.
Back to Lana Harris. Go ahead, Lana.
Hi there. Well, I'm new to the city, but I've asked you a question before about your de-escalation facility that's in the works. Is that still going to be what CMPD is going to pursue even with you gone, or do you know?
What I know, and the next chief will back this up, is we're scheduled to start that construction this month, actually, and it should be up and running by end of summer. So that hasn't changed. Nope. That has not changed. It's important that we continue to do that, and it's a regional facility, and de-escalation is exactly what we're trying to achieve as we move forward, just as we have in the past. So yes, that's still ongoing and going to be built this summer.
Eric Spanberg.
Part of trying to build that community trust in a different way. Now that you won't be chief, do you think there are different ways that you can speak out and try to build trust, particularly between the minority community and the police department?
Yes. Yes, Eric, that's exactly what I intend to do, my friend. That's my passion. We have tripled the size of the Envision Academy. Those kids, I hope, are logging in, looking at some of this. We're proud of that work. That's going to continue. I see, though, my struggle has always been we engage for the summer, then we disconnect. We have SROs and everything else, but it's not as seamless as I'd like to see that. So that is one of the passions that I'm going to continue, and I'll have more time to do so because I think you employ kids for the summer, you stay in their lives, they get to see us in a different way, and we continue that mentorship throughout the school year. So those are things that where you're going to see more of in the voice. I'm going to be louder, a bit more pointed, but no less passionate about what I say and, more importantly, what I do. So yes, that is my plan. I intend to be here in Charlotte for a while, and as long as I'm here, I'm going to do exactly what I'm committed to doing, which is making this a great city, doing my contribution to do so at least.
Allison Kuznets.
Hi, Chief Putney. It's Allison Kuznets from the Charlotte Observer. Could you talk a little bit about the SBI review that was released last Friday and talk about the timing of that release, that it had been dated a week earlier? Why was the decision to wait a week before disclosing it to the public?
Yes, good question. The main reason was we were going to do a bigger presentation about all the facts. They were going to be visual so we could show people explicitly what it looked like. And the timing didn't allow for that, so we released it. And Deputy Chief Estes explained it in a way that I think keeps us transparent. People know exactly what that report looked like. Wasn't my preferred method of doing it, but timing was of the essence. It was released. People can figure out the story for themselves based on the facts that were independently discovered through their investigation.
Lauren Howard.
All right, you're actually on my time now, so you got another minute and a half or so to ask questions. You might want to get them in because then I'm moving on and starting my transition. So any last minute questions?
We'll go on next to Brent Jensen.
Chief, can you just, I know this is a broad question, but can you talk about, like, when you look back from the last couple of months, dating back to when you first took over, how would you describe your time as chief?
My word would be interesting. There's been no lack of challenges, but I'm proud of our team. Chief Jennings has one of the best senior executive teams, I think, in the country, and we got one of the premier departments in the country. So I'm just humbled to be along for the ride, really. I get credit with a lot of things just because I've been in that position, but truthfully, it's about the people in the city of Charlotte as well. So I'm just thankful to be a part of such a good team. We have a lot more time to do that one-on-one. I'm going to allow for that before July 1st. So we'll have more in-depth conversations about those types of things. But here's what I'll tell you. Everybody wants to talk about legacy. My only legacy is the people who continue to do this work the way we as a culture, as an organization, want it done. Charlotte should have no less, and that's going to continue. All the other questions we'll deal with one-on-one when we get more time to talk. That is not today.
We have two left. Eric Spanberg, go ahead.
Back to you, Eric.
You were here obviously during the DNC in 2012, and I'm wondering how you're feeling about not working on an RNC, whether you're relieved, disappointed, or something else.
I'm heartbroken. I'm just heartbroken. The truth of the matter is this. We're going to be ready for a full convention. I committed to getting us there and getting us through it, and our people stepped up. We had not just our senior executives, but we brought along some people who are going to take their place as we move forward. So we were ready not only for the DNC in 12 and the potential RNC in 2020, but anything that comes our way in the future. So truthfully, I don't like to leave anything unfinished. Since the change is so significant and we're not really having a full convention, my work is done, and I'm moving on to other challenges, and I know our organization is ready for whatever happens with the business meeting here in Charlotte. It'll be a fantastic, successful event, but I just won't be here to lead us through that business meeting.
Our final question, Allison Kuznets.
Hey, Chief Putney, could you talk about some advice you would give to Deputy Chief Jennings, especially evaluating the ongoing protests and demonstration in Charlotte? What type of advice would you give as far as violence interruption programs, community policing, faith-based hubs, any of those types of advice? What would you give to your successor?
Very good question. I don't give advice. I give recommendations and perspective. Only thing I'd recommend is find your voice and be true to who you are. Never sacrifice that. And the perspective I give is we've come a long way. You've been here every step of the way. Those are lessons that we need to learn from, continue to get better, and protect our tradition and culture as an agency, because you don't get to be one of the finest agencies in the country if you have culture issues or if you have issues around being resistant to learning and improving. I think as long as those things are maintained, it'll be a seamless transition, and there are much more successful times that lay ahead for this city and our organization. Thank you.
Okay, everybody, thank you for joining. Have a good rest of your day.